it's Karen with Yes Please PaperCrafts. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing a scrapbook process for the RTS Scrapbooking 444 series, the summer round. I started this a few weeks ago. I have a couple of videos out. One is the one where I put together the kit and selected the paper, and the other video is on my first layout and cutting the paper. Okay, so this particular video is going to be on the second layout, and I'm going to start off by looking at the instructions. Now these instructions can be downloaded from the Facebook group Love RTS, and if you're not a member of the group, I will put a link to that group in the description of this video. If you're interested, you can click on that link and request to join. And yeah, it's awesome to have the instruction because it tells you exactly what you need to cut the papers and also what you need for each layout. So I'm looking at the instructions, and I'm going to be looking at this paper that I have cut up in my last video, and I'm going to be pulling out my different papers. Now my paper number 1 is an abstract geometric. Paper number 2 is a lime stripe. Paper number 3 is that floral, and then paper number 4 is the blue. So I'm going to be pulling out 2 3x4s from paper number 1 and paper number 2. I'm also going to be pulling 1 3x4 from paper number 3, which is the floral. And I also needed 3 1x4s from that floral print, and I had forgotten to cut down the there's like a 4x4 square, so I'm going to need to do that later. But so I'm kind of got a little bit confused about which paper to get. So there's 1 3x4 from paper number 4, which is that blue tone on tone. And then here's where I'm trying to figure out which paper do I need for my my 1x4s. I forgot to cut that, and that's one of the reasons why I got confused there, because I didn't follow the instructions very well when I cut the paper. Okay, so I think I'm going to figure it out here shortly. So if you've not heard of the RTS Scrapbooking series 444, RTS Scrapbooking is my favorite YouTube channel, and Janet over at RTS Scrapbooking came up with this series called 444, where you take 4 sheets of paper and you make 4 scrapbook layouts and 4 cards. So I'm just going to be playing along with this 444 series, and I'm going to be making my second layout. Now I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit more so that this video is not too long, and I'm just going to kind of talk you through the process of how I created this layout. So I'm keeping this kit in a Irish 12x12 slim project case, and it fits 12x12 papers, but it's much thinner than a regular Irish scrapbook case, and it's only, I think, about 1.5 inches deep. So it's really awesome to keep a kit. And I was just going through the pictures trying to figure out what pictures I'm going to use for this layout, and I decided to use these 3 little pictures of my great niece Elena. She's trying to get into the pool. And now I'm going to go through and look through some of these cut aparts and the paper and stickers. I'm just trying to figure out, like, kind of what do I have in this kit that I can use. And I was kind of thinking that I might use some of those 3x4 cards because I'm going to be doing a grid layout. And so yeah, so I think I'm going to be using that 3x4 sheet there. I'm going to cut it apart later. Now I'm going to go through and look at some of the stickers that I have to try to figure out what I could use for a title. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, what I have available. And I really wanted to use those white stickers, but I didn't have the right words. And so I'm going to go ahead and use this other thicker pack that has all these multicolor letters with the dots. Those are so cute. I've used them several times on different layouts, and I'm kind of getting low on letters, and so I was kind of struggling with trying to find words that I could spell with those stickers. So these stickers are from Pebbles, the Birthday Wishes collection, and they're called Celebrate, and they're just so cute. I'm going to be really sad when I run out of letters to use, because I love using these stickers on layouts. So I'm going to come up with a title called Hello Sunshine, and I was able to spell sunshine with those stickers, and I was looking for something else that I could use to spell the word hello. And but for now, I'm just going to work on pulling out the word sunshine, making sure I had enough letters and I could make the word in different colored letters, because, you know, I don't really like to have the same color letter next to each other. So I pulled out the word sunshine from there, and I think that's going to look really cute. And I was trying to use those puffy letters, but they just didn't match this other thicker set. So I'm going to go through this wood veneer, and I found a wood veneer with the word hello, and that's going to be my title, Hello Sunshine. Okay, so next I'm going to be taking this cut apart sheet, and this is from the Sunshine and Happiness collection from Simple Stories. And Simple Stories has a lot of cut aparts, and these are really cute. And I thought they would go really well with this layout because I'm going to be doing a grid layout with 3x4 rectangles. And so I'm just going to cut that apart. I'm using the Caterpillar Crop paper trimmer, and it's just a really awesome paper trimmer. So once I get all these cut up, I'm going to be cutting down my pictures. You know, I originally started out thinking I was going to use these pictures bigger. I think I cut them to a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 inch square. And then later I'm going to realize that it'd probably be better if I just made them fit into a 3x4. And so I'm going to go back later and trim them down. But for now, I just have them in a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch square. Now I have all these little 3x4 cards, and oh yeah, this is where I needed to cut down that 4x4 into 4 1x4 inch strips. And that Caterpillar crop does not have very good markings to be able to do a 1 inch, and it doesn't have a paper guide. It's very difficult to do anything that's 1 inch. So I switched to using that Creative Memories little paper trimmer, and it's much easier doing it on there. So one of the things I don't like about the Caterpillar crop is that it doesn't have a way to really cut like a 1/2 inch or 1 inch. It's very difficult to do that on that paper trimmer. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and lay these 3x4 papers out, and I'm looking through all these little 3x4 cards to see which cards I want to use. And I'm going to go across with 2 rows, and I just messed around with this quite a bit trying to figure out which ones I wanted to use. And I really like the one with the popsicle, and I'm going to end up using that one. It says chill on it. And then they had that other one with the flowers and then the little sun. It says let the sun shine. I use that one as well. And yeah, I really think that's really cute. So with the 1x3 strips, I decided to put those across the bottom. And I'm going to be using a border punch, and I'm going to create a border at the bottom there. So you may notice that the green stripe that I had, I actually flipped that over and I'm using the pink side, and I did that on my first layout as well. I just thought it went better with these pictures of my niece. She's a girl, and I just thought the pink was really pretty, so I switched it around and using the back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take these little 1x4s and make them into little border strips, and I'm using that little scallop punch. And I thought that turned out really cute. Now I'm going to try to figure out like how big do I want the pictures, and this is where I figured out I needed to cut them down so that they fit within one of those 3x4 cards. And I'm going to use the 3 of the 3x4 cards as little mats to mat these pictures. And I'm just trying to figure out where I want the cards and where I want the pictures. And I kind of wish that I would have done this layout where I had the pictures more separated, but when I was playing around with this and moving all of this around, I had wanted to also put some separation between the little project cards that had sayings on them, because I didn't want those to be next to each other. And also the word hello, it was stretching across those top 2 3x4 cards, and I didn't like that it was going across my picture. But now looking back at the video, I kind of wish I would have left it like that, because I think that it looks a little bit more balanced having the one picture on the top and then the 2 pictures kind of separated on the bottom underneath. And here in a minute, I'm going to be moving that around. Now I got out some washi tape, and this is washi tape I had with my kit, and I decided to pull in a pink washi tape that had the word fun in gold letters, and also a gold diagonal stripe washi tape. Now I'm just cutting these down a little bit more, and I didn't really do a good job cutting those down into 3x4s. And this is going to give me a lot of problems later when I go to glue this down, because when you're making a grid layout, you really need to make sure that your measurements are good and that all your pieces are the same size. And yeah, I didn't do a good job of doing that. So I'm going to try to glue this down, and it's not going to match up. But eventually I figure it out, and I'm just going to go ahead and make it work. And you know, it's interesting sometimes when you run into an issue where something doesn't work out quite like you think it should. And what happened here was that that piece right there was too big, and I'm going to figure that out later. And then the little popsicle one is too small. And what I ended up doing was taking some of these little cards and making them smaller and then matting them onto some 3x4 paper. And so I thought that turned out really cute because I don't think I would have done that had I not had a problem where that popsicle one was too small. It was not a 3x4, it was smaller than a 3x4. And it just didn't look right when I went to glue it down. There was quite a big gap. So I don't know what happened when I cut that down, but yeah, it wasn't the right size. So okay, so now I'm going to be moving these around, trying to figure out where do I want to put them. And I also trying to figure out where do I want paper do I want to use for my mats for my photos. And yeah, so this is pretty much how my layout ends up. And I'm going to go ahead and start cutting these down, and I'm going to mat them onto those 3x4 papers. And so I thought that was really cute because it gave me, you know, a little bit more, you know, dimension to my layout. Now here I'm trying to mat that picture on that blue paper, but that blue in the photo was almost like blending into that blue background. So I decided to move some more around, and I put that photo on the pink background. And then I'm going to take this other photo and put it on the blue background. And yeah, I thought that looked much better. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing this down. And here's where I figured out that that was not the right size. And it makes it really tough when you got adhesive on something to try to cut it down. But so here's my optional paper. So when you do this 4x4 series, Janet tells you to pick 5 sheets of paper, and you have papers 1 through 4, and then you have an optional one. So the optional one you can bring in if you need more paper. And I needed something to use as a mat for one of these cards. So I decided to bring in that orange pattern paper there. So yeah, just trim that one down, and now it's really a 3x4, so that's going to work out much better. And I'm just going to be trimming down this one that had the popsicle and making it a little bit smaller so that I can mat that onto, I think I matted that one onto one of those pink pattern papers right there. So I thought that looked really cute. And yeah, if I would have gone through and measured all of this first before I started gluing everything down, this would have went together so much easier. But I just had to keep pulling stuff up and, you know, messing around with it because I didn't do a good job of doing all my measurements. When you're doing a grid, you need to measure twice and cut once. No, what is it? No, measure twice and cut once. But I think I cut a bunch of times and kept measuring over and over. So I think this layout took me about 2 hours to make because when I was filming this, I had about 2 hours of video. And I think it probably would have taken about half that amount of time if I wouldn't have had to spend so much time trying to go back and fix all of my mistakes that I made when I didn't, you know, get this right. So yeah, I think the next time I do a grid layout, I'm going to be taking all my little pieces of paper and making sure they're all the same size because this is not the first time that this has happened to me. And I just really was frustrated with myself when I was making this layout and trying to put it together that I didn't have things the right size. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start gluing all this down, and I'm going to get that border glued down underneath. And it was interesting to me that I did that border across the bottom, and once I had this all together, I couldn't even tell that it was 3 separate pieces. So I thought that came out really cute. I would have never thought to do that. So one of the things I like about doing this RTS 444 series is that all the paper is cut up in the first step. And then when you go to put your layouts together, you're just pulling these different pieces of paper, and then you can just play with that paper. And it makes me do things that I probably would have not done on my own. And I thought that was kind of cool. Now that was something, I watched a bunch of Janet's videos, and that was something that she suggested in one of the videos. And so that's one of the other reasons why I tried that border going across the entire bottom with those little 1x4 strips. And I thought that worked out really well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get that glued down. Now, I did have a little bit, it was uneven at the end, and one of the things I love about this paper trimmer is that when you trim with that paper trimmer, you can get really thin pieces off. And so I think sometimes it's better to trim it if you have a little bit of unevenness in your paper, and then you'll just sacrifice, and I think it's a little bit less than 12 by 12, but I like that better than having, you know, like white showing. So, okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put these washi tapes down. I put the pink Fun, Fun, Fun at the top, and then the gold stripe at both the top there, and I'm also going to put it at the bottom just above that little scallop. And I thought that looked really cute and added, you know, I love adding gold to a layout. I thought that looked really, really fun. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on my title here. I have the hello at the top of the layout, and I decided to put the sunshine at the bottom, and I like the way that that actually turned out. So here's where I realized that that was upside down. Doesn't that look like it should be the other way? I guess when I was gluing it down, I decided that having the sun at the top actually looked like it was right, but actually it's not. If the sun is supposed to be at the bottom and the words were upside down. So I did actually realize that before I got too far into the layout. And one of the reasons why I noticed it was because I decided to use that little sun from those pillow puffs that are from the summertime collection from October Afternoon. And I put it right on top of the sun that was on that little card. And then I noticed the words were upside down. So, okay, so here I'm trying to put on some stickers, and I got that little ice cream cone and stuck it there, and I don't like it there, but one of the reasons why I put something there was because there was a mark on the paper, and I was trying to cover up this weird mark that was on the paper next to that little popsicle. So I ended up putting that ice cream cone there, but it's not going to stay there. So I'm adding some puffy stickers, and I added a little cloud, and I'm going to add this little sticker at the top here that's orange that says love this. And I thought that was really cute. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and glue down this title, the sunshine. I'm using this T-square ruler, and I'm also using this glue from, it's from the Art Glitter Glue, and it's a really awesome glue. I love it. It just comes out so easily, and it's my favorite glue that I use to do scrapbooking. Okay, so I'm going to get that glued down, and I just thought that came out so cute. It just really pops off of that white color. And here's where I'm trying different things, still trying to cover up that little spot. And then I realized, hey, why don't I just try erasing it? And that worked. I was able to take an eraser and just it just went away. So I didn't have to put anything there to cover up that mark. Okay, so I wasn't finding any embellishments that I really liked in my different stickers that I had. So I found one of those 3x4 cards, the cut-aparts, and this little bird, and I decided to fussy cut that little bird out. And I think I used a little bird on the layout number 1, but it was one of the chipboard pieces from this Sunshine and Happiness. So I'm looking for more things that I can cut apart, and I found this sun, and I thought that'd be cool. I'm going to cut this sun out, especially since the title of my layout is Hello Sunshine. I thought that'd be kind of neat to add a big sun onto this layout. And so once I get this cut out, I'm going to be layering it on top of that floral square at the top of the layout. And I thought that really turned out cute because there wasn't really anything on that floral paper there, and it actually extends the title and kind of brings those two squares together to make a bigger title. So I'm actually trying it a couple of different places, but it ends up right back there where I started. I also like that it kind of extends over onto the picture a little bit. And I'm going to be gluing it down, but I'm also going to be using some foam tape, and I'm going to be putting foam tape on all of those little rays of the sun to kind of pop it up. But then I added glue at the bottom on the two straight edges, and I glued it down so that it's flush with the squares next to it. So I thought that turned out really cute. And then I wanted to put the bird kind of sitting on top of that sun. And yeah, it gave the bird a place to sit. So I'm going to go ahead and get this glued down. And I love using foam tape because I love having that added dimension. It just gives such character to a layout. And yeah, I don't think I do layouts anymore without using some kind of chipboard or foam tape or puffy stickers or buttons or flares or something that has dimension. Okay, so I'm going to glue down the hello, and I made sure that the hello, you could see the word fun right there, so it says fun hello. And yeah, I thought that turned out really cute. So I'm going to go through and look for some more wood veneers. And I had that wood veneer that was kind of sun, sand, and sea, and it had like little seashells, but it didn't really go with the feel of this layout. So then I got out this Jen Hadfield My Bright Life. This is some, wood veneer from that collection, and it's got these really cute flowers and butterflies, and I just thought that was so much cuter. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out a couple flowers. I added one flower to the bottom there, and then one to that cluster at the top right. Okay, so here's where I decided that I was going to maybe try to use some of these photo corners, but I think what I realize now as I'm fooling around with this, and I spent a lot of time trying to use these photo corners and fix mistakes that I made using the photo corners, is that if you're going to use photo corners, you need to decide to do that before you glue everything down, because it's really hard to fool with those photo corners if everything's already glued down on your layout. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue down these wood veneers, and then I'm going to be getting some of these enamel dots, and I got 3 different colors. This is really pretty green, an orange, yellow, and I think I also used like a turquoise, like a blue. And I'm just going to be scattering those enamel dots on my layout. And I love using enamel dots. I think it just adds a finishing touch to a layout. It's kind of like adding sparkle and jewelry to your layout. So it's one of my favorite things to use on a layout. I'm just going to mess around with those, moving those around. Okay, so now I'm going to just try to figure out if I can find any more stickers or things that I can put. And I put that little recap chipboard right there on that top of that abstract geometric square. And here's where I decided that I was going to take these stickers from this sticker book, and they're like little photo corners, but the problem was is I didn't get them on there. They're crooked, and it looked really bad. Now you can't really tell in the video, but up close, those photo corners were, yeah, it was bothering me. So then I tried to use these bigger photo corners, and that didn't work out. I didn't like the way it looked. It stuck out too much. They were just way too big for that for these little pictures. So I tried a couple of different pictures. I'm trying to fix my mistake, and I spent a lot of time trying to try to figure out how can I cover that up. I was thinking maybe I was going to have to reprint that photo, but I ended up being able to fix it. So yeah. Yeah, if you're going to use photo corners, it's better to put them on before you glue your pictures down. That's what I found out. Okay, so here's where I'm going to try to take those stickers off, and it leaves that white paper there. It just looks so bad. And I'm going to go and get some smaller photo corners. These are the little pink ones, and I used those in my first layout. And I thought, well, I really like the way that those little pink photo corners looked in my first layout. I'll just use those same ones here. It just took me a while to get that off of the picture. The other thing I was having a trouble with was the corner of the picture wasn't going all the way into the photo corner. And so I ended up just trimming the corners of my pictures so that I could get that photo corner to get on there straight. Once I got that on there, I thought that looked really cute. And I went ahead and added photo corners on all 3 of my pictures. So I think it's kind of interesting. I've been scrapbooking for a really long time, but I had a long break. I did scrapbooking for a few years, and then I switched over to card making, and I was primarily a card maker for many, many years. And I'm just now getting back into doing scrapbooking, I guess the past couple years. So I still kind of struggle with things, and I'm learning, and it seems like every layout there's something that goes wrong. But I think that as I'm doing each layout, I just get better and better and faster, and eventually I'm hoping that things, when I sit down to do a layout, I don't get frustrated, because sometimes, it can be very frustrating if things don't go to plan, and I sometimes just give up. But I really forced myself to sit there and just work on this layout for the 2 hours and not stop. And when I got stuck or when I got frustrated, I just took a deep breath. I turned on some music and I just kept going. And I'm really happy with the way this layout turned out. I think it turned out really cute. And I'm really happy that I worked through all the problems and the challenges that I had along the way. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like, and if you would like to see more videos, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.